Greetings, my friends. Stormy here. This little video is about something that everybody needs to know. The hustle and bustle that we've all become accustomed to living on this planet, the constant war on the planet, the war for everything, for the skies to even to our souls. We have overlooked some of the most magical parts of it, that we are all interconnected. And this video will be my attempt to help us understand that. Here's some footage over Arizona, November 10th. Some of the worst trailing you'll ever see, and I've videoed exactly the same thing. But there happens to be a way to detox yourself, and I'm going to go into that, and it's involving our friends, the plants. This is an excerpt from Cleve Baxter's The Secret Life of Plants, an American who discovered that plants not only have feelings, but can read your mind.
Welcome to the Baxter School of Light Detection.
I'm Cleve Baxter, and during the next 6 weeks here in San Diego, you're going to be involved in a very intensified instructional course in the use of the polygraph, or so-called lie detector.
In the course of a career dedicated to investigation for federal and municipal law enforcement agencies, Cleve Baxter has earned a reputation as the world's foremost authority on the polygraph.
Well, as of February 2nd, 1966, I'd been in the polygraph field full-time for 18 years. And this particular morning, I had been working all night in the laboratory and had decided to water a plant in the lab, very similar to the plant here, Dracaena cane plant. My thought was that as the moisture arrived to the leaf of the plant, the plant should be a better conductor, and I should get a reading on the chart. Well, strangely enough, I didn't get this at all, and in fact, it did just the opposite. Instead of the tracing edging upward as it should have on the chart, it went into sort of a wild excitation, very similar to the first part of a human taking a polygraph test. But then it occurred to me, just about 14 minutes along, what would be the real optimum threat to the well-being of a plant. In fact, the imagery of fire entered my mind, and I not only thought, but I fully intended to burn the very leaf that was being tested with a match. Now, I had no matches in the room at the time, and I don't smoke, and I had to go next door to my secretary's area to get a match. But the interesting thing is that right at the split second that imagery of fire entered my mind, the tracing reflecting the changes in the plant just went right off the top of the page. And the only thing that occurred at that time, no lighting of a match, nothing else, merely the imagery of fire. And I must say that as of 14 minutes along in that initial observation on the morning of February 2nd, 1966, my life just hasn't been the same.
Responding to the initial experience, when a plant apparently read his mind, Baxter works nights on his own in his small laboratory. His goal is to perfect an experiment that will satisfy the rigid criteria of the scientific establishment.
Now we all know what happens when you butt heads with the scientific community. It's the ruin of your career, though this man did continue and put out some great work. Here we have music of the plants. This is a synthesizer that can read the electrical impulses from a plant. It is hooked up to the leaf, and then it has a ground that touches the roots, and it registers the impulses or the output of that plant, the electrical outputs. And who could have invented something like this? Well, let's see here. Music of the Plants. I subscribe to this channel. They put out some really good stuff. But it all started with this company, the Dominor Spirit Echo Community. This is a video that they did of a plant driving a robot car, if you can believe that. Let's take a look at these people. Let's see what they've done. Right here.
30 miles north of Turin, Italy, buried deep under the foothills of the Alps, enlightenment awaits. Under an unassuming suburban house in northern Italy is a giant series of underground chambers. Dug by a group of non-architects working around the clock over 15 years, the project was done in total secrecy. It has become known as the 8th wonder of the world. I'm talking about the Temple of Dominor. It was a warm August night when Umberto Araudi and his believers sat in his backyard at the foothills of the Alps. They watched a falling star shoot through the sky and decided now was an auspicious time to begin their project. So with simple chisels and hammers, they began to dig into the rock. It's a massive and intricately decorated underground complex spreading over 300,000 cubic meters, connected by hundreds of meters of tunnels and on 5 different levels. The structure contains a large number of rooms, some with ceilings of over 25 feet tall. One room is a 4-sided pyramid covered in mirrors and topped with a glass dome. The ceiling of a room called the Hall of Spheres is covered entirely in gold leaf, and the walls and floors are done in intricate murals and mosaics, all done by Umberto's followers. And the project stayed secret for over 15 years. But the jig was up. The Italian police were onto them. Show us these temples or we will dynamite the entire hillside. This is what the Italian police said to Umberto in 1992. And so Umberto dutifully complied and opened the doors to let them in. The entire massive complex has a distinctly 1970s new age kind of feel to it, and it's said to correspond with a journey into oneself. According to Umberto, this all started when he was a child, and he had visions which contained a great temple filled with people living in harmonious and idyllic existence together. It was his goal to recreate those dreams, and that was what he's attempting to do with the Temple of Dominor. Once the Italian government knew of its existence, they ordered it destroyed. But an outcry from the locals reversed the decision, and the government even went on to say, keep building, make it bigger. Umberto has since passed away, but the work continues. There are now tens of thousands of followers all over the world, and the temple is their mecca. Cult or not, one of the fundamental philosophies of Dominor is that individuals are capable of much more than they realize. And certainly, the temple is a testament to what a small group of true believers can accomplish.
Now, this Dominor community, though they did form in secret, they had to. It's being called a cult, which is just a name for a community. But they have invented some really spectacular things. And this plant, able to hear the plants sing, is turning out to be something that will help this whole planet. And there is a video that shows what I'm talking about. Now I realize a lot of you will have trouble believing that plants can sing. This guy from The Sound of Golden Light, he has several videos on this. He's a musician, And he explains how he first discovered this and how he's been working with it. And he has discovered that by joining in with his music, that they can play together. Now, I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but it's demonstrated time after time. And now this is going on around the world, but in small numbers. It's mainly just the musical community. And of course, it's all done in 432 hertz, the rhythm of that music we're supposed to be hearing. So let's take a look at this setup. Now, there are some people that in the scientific community that are well aware of this and have shown the medical benefits of it. And that is what this whole video is leading to, that the animal and, well, the plant kingdom is here to help us. They were here on this planet long before we were. Now let's take a look at that. Here we have music of the plants, research behind the magic. And you can tell by the low view count. Not many people know about this. And the researcher's name is Teresa Helgeson. And it says she's a certified medical hypnotherapist and founder of the plant music therapy. Shares her research behind the music of the plant's technology and how people's health is improved by the music from the plants. This video will blow your mind.
So I've been to several conferences over the past year and a half presenting my research findings. At the conference, I show my research of what happens before and after a plant music session. So the pictures of and the video of the blood and how it changes, and the immune system and how it gets stronger, and how the body goes through a detoxification process, how the stress level within the organs gets back into a normal range. So this is the bloodstream before a plant music therapy session, where there's lots of rouleau, and what that means is that the red blood cells are supposed to be singular like that, but they're all clumped together and they're sticking together, which means that the blood, the body's not getting oxygen and vitamins and nutrients that it needs in order to survive and be healthy. So this is an extremely severe case of what they call rouleau in the bloodstream for this particular person. And after one session with the plant music, this is what the bloodstream looks like now. So that the red blood cells are the way they're supposed to be. They're separated, they're single, they're strong. You can tell by the light color around them. It's completely cleaned up and cleared up the bloodstream. Just with one session. We also discovered in our pilot studies that we saw people that had plaque protein crystals, excessive amounts of plaque protein crystals in their bloodstream. And that can lead to heart disease, clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. Well, heart disease is like the #3 killer in our country. You want a certain amount of platelet clumping so that your blood clots when you have an injury. But you don't want the blood clotting when it's in your body without an injury. And so too much of that can cause all kinds of problems. So this particular person has, this is just one of many we found in the bloodstream that were really severe. And this is a large protein crystal with all those white dots. That's a large protein crystal, and if you have too much or excessive protein in your bloodstream, again, it can contribute to heart disease, clogged arteries, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and that type of thing. I discovered in the pilot studies that the immune system gets stronger by 2 to 3 times. This particular person, after one session, Here we go. Look how small that is. It's gone down by less than half the size of what it was with just one session. And we could not find any protein crystals in there. So the protein crystals had disappeared. Now, these are the white blood cells right here. And look at the size of these compared to the red blood cells, okay? It's how small they are. They're probably, this one's a little bit larger, but look how big they are now. After one session with plant music, it's 4 times the size, about 4 times the size of what the red blood cells are. So the white blood cells, which is the immune system, get stronger. They get larger and brighter in color and more active. Well, what does that do to people that are going through chemotherapy? If you could keep someone's immune system really strong while they're going through something like chemotherapy, what would that do to their mortality rate? I don't know, but I would love to do more research to find out.
So, this relatively new science of being able to listen to plants, and the fact that it's been well known that we are all interconnected, and that is being shoved down our throats as being ancient and archaic, and it doesn't apply to today's world of AI, and that we're going to become transhuman. No, that there is a way to fight this, or at least to in your own personal space. And here is some of the music recorded on SoundCloud of the plants singing. And I'm going to leave it here and play a little bit of these tunes so you can get an idea. But the machine itself is just outrageously expensive. It's over $800. But there will be ways there are other ways, and I'm going to look into it. I mean, even Amazon has these musical flower pots, and it says can sing. You touch them, and it plays a tune. Now, that does not mean that they're these type of things. I've been trying to ask questions there on Amazon to people that have bought it, and to the people that make it, and have not received a reply yet. But there are other videos of people being able to do this with electrodes and different equipment besides the synthesizer. But this is something that is very important to everybody. And but here's some of their music. I think it would be totally awesome to be able to have this type of music played for you throughout the day. But this is all kind of hidden knowledge. They do not want you to know this. Could you imagine being able to heal yourself? That would turn the medical community on its ear. Well, till later, Stormy out.